All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you on a cloudy Kentucky afternoon. There's no rain, but it is a little bit cloudy. Breeze is blowing. It's warm outside, so it's great. But we're inside the shop today. Welcome along. Let me bring my army here in. We got Queen Ruby, we've got Wayne the Wizard, and we've got Todd from TLF Woodworks. Glad to have all three of you guys. They're going to be monitoring the chat and keeping me informed and asking questions and answering questions and all those fun things. So I'm going to put these guys back in the background for right now and show you what we got going on. Last Wednesday night, I did a demonstration for Worldwide Woodturners, and we came up with this. You may have seen something similar on Brian Oosby's uh, channel just a little while back, where he turned a plate, then cut it in half, cut the center out of it, those kinds of things, mounted it at about that angle, and he put a box in the middle. And so I thought I like that project, and so we're going to kind of replicate it. There's the holder part. I haven't done the stand or anything yet, but we're going to use a piece of cherry. It's roughly 2 3/4 square by what I say, uh, just a hair over 4 inches long. So we're going to put that between centers and get going, making that a box that'll go in that other walnut piece. So while I'm getting the lathe set up and getting this mounted, these guys are going to share with us all who all is in the chat. So whoever wants to go for it, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it this week. I haven't done it for a couple of weeks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well on this fine and sunny day in Dumfries in southwest Scotland. Still got the patio doors open, still very warm. And the first person we have in tonight is Ronald Todd from the West Bank of New Jersey. Obviously, we've got Ruby here. We've got Scott in from Hampton Wood Turnings. We've got Paul Hunter in. Evening, Paul. And Dale's in, Old Man River. Good evening, Dale. Roger Kent is here. Now, this chat is going to jump a bit because I've gone all the way to the top, but bear with me. Todd's in from Glen Cove. Good evening, Todd. Ian Lee is here. Hi, Ian. Thomas Kenny's in. Mike's in from Dancers. Doug Bennett's here. Evening, Doug. Lucy's in. Hiya, Lucy. And
Sweet
Haley's
potato.
in. You can
Hey,
always
Haley.
recognize Haley because she's got a wavy hand at the end of her comment.
Big pink one.
Yeah, big pink one. Yeah, that's it.
I think you
Gav's
missed
in.
the four king owls.
Yes, I did. Four King Owls is here as well. Good evening. Dances Todd. Gav's in. Evening, Gav. Anthony Green. Roger Woolham. Ray. I can never do his surname. I'm sorry.
Apodaca.
Yeah, that's Daco Timberworks.
Just Ray.
Holland Woodworks is here. Good afternoon. Woodworm Paul's in. Hiya. Malcolm Douglas is here. Good evening, Malcolm. And Gerard's in. Hiya, Gerard. Not seen you for a wee while.
Bonsoir, Gerard.
And that's me down at the bottom of the list.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you all here today. I am using a spring-loaded step center on the drive spindle side, and so every once in a while I'll have to tighten it up just a little bit.
So, what kind of wood is this piece?
This is cherry. Piece of cherry I've had knocking around on the floor for a while.
And Four King
Should be
Owls
nice.
has said, hello, Ruby, 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 and young Wayne. Oh, thank you for that, Four King Owls.
Scrolling through, I saw where Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks said it might hit 100 here in Dallas tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that.
Not
bet.
me.
Not.
You keep the heat down your way. Four King Owls, what is your first name, please?
4.
Nice one, Doug.
You can be replaced. It'll be hard, but you could be, you know.
All right. Good night, everybody. Mm.
God, you're closer than I am. You'll have to take over the tool.
It's quite a reach, I can tell you.
Gerard, the French turner, has said, I know Wayne's been very busy learning FreeCAD and 3D printing for a jig of the lathe. Yeah, that'll be right, Gerard.
Just looking to see where we are. We're getting the corners knocked off.
The answer
Good.
to that question is Martin.
Welcome, Martin. And thank you
evening,
for
Martin.
letting us know.
Hey, Martin. We're glad to have everybody along. It's always good to have folks along while we do
Now,
it.
are you using the skew for practice or because your spindle roughing gouge isn't sharp?
Well, yes. Actually, my spindle roughing gouge got knocked off I keep it on a magnetic rack, and it got knocked off the other day, and it went straight down into the concrete floor. And I have not picked it up yet. So, but I don't mind taking a square chunk and making it round with a skew.
Now,
Works well.
can I just let everyone know that because of the camera angle that Doug's got at the moment, the overhead, it looks that like he's using the long point on the skew, where he's actually not.
Right. Yeah. Long point's up. Toe is up. Heel is down.
And Martin, he said he hasn't watched any lives for over 2 years.
Hasn't been that long.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Absolutely.
Now,
And
Wayne, Mike wants to know when you're going to turn a chunk of the Methuselah tree.
Well, when somebody decides to give me a chunk of it, I might turn some of it.
We're almost round on this end.
And Andy, the Valley Wood Turner's come in. Good evening, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Speed life up here a little bit.
Martin says that they let him out. But no, he's wanting to get back started again. Nice one, mate.
Good. And
Been several folks out of. Go ahead.
Mike is saying the Methuselah tree is a fantastic looking tree.
I'll have to look that one up.
Don't you remember when we planted it?
Yeah, but it'll not look the same as it did then.
That's true. Of course, neither do we.
Well, that's true.
There was somebody the other day. When was it? One of the lives that I just watched. They were talking about a tree. Oh, it was William and Brian talking about they cut up a cherry stump, and it was over 500 years old. Somebody said, "Did Wayne plant that one?"
That was the yew stump, wasn't it? That they cut up.
I think so.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a tear out plate. That little area there, it's a bad chunk of wood. Got to get past that.
Yeah. That's going to jump off.
Almost looks like a shake crack.
Could be.
That's a good one, Wayne.
Yeah, I saw that one. And Ronald Todd is reminding everybody to give this a thumbs up.
That's a good idea, folks.
Now, Mike has said he had a load of oak off an over 1,000-year-old tree once, but he only got one small bowl out of it. The rest delaminated.
Still got a little ways to go on that.
Yeah, ring shake is what Doug's got on the side of this piece here. And a lot of times it's caused by how the tree was felled. If it was just let drop, this can occur.
Yeah, it's going to go all the way back to, it's going to get a bit bigger as Doug gets towards the tailstock. Do you want to stop the lathe a second, Doug?
Sure.
Right, bring up where that crack is. Yeah, you can actually see the line right at the top there that goes back along to the tailstock.
Goes back to about there. It
No,
may go just a little further.
up above.
Yeah.
Kick your finger up above. No, directly from the crack up above. You can actually see a black line.
Yeah, the little line goes right underneath that little
right underneath that little knot.
Coming out.
Oh, back here?
Yeah, that there. That is going to form part of that crack.
Yeah.
Oh, it might. It might.
Take our word on it. And Jim Selby and Chris Walters has joined us. Welcome,
hey
Jim,
guys.
Chris.
MB Woodturners just come in as well. Good evening.
Hey, Mark. Well, I cannot get this tailstock tight enough.
And Chris is asking how you and Wayne and myself are doing, Doug.
Not bad.
Doing
Chris.
well.
What?
Yeah, I think we're all doing well. Trying to stay out of trouble.
Oh, goodness. I tell you what, here the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's not going to get any better, but this part-time job I've taken have kept me from having any trouble, which means I'm not having any fun, except
Well,
when I'm at the lathe.
It's very easy to keep out of trouble. And
Colin
is oh, sorry, Todd.
I was going to say Colin Izzard. It's good. Yeah.
I'm picking up a vibration now. I may be into that crack again, or maybe the wood. There's that knot, but I'm getting that split ends right there. So I'm happy about that. Happy about that.
Forking Owls is asking me, does SK and GP and the rest of the old crew still do lives like the old days? GP does a premiere every Monday night, at 7 p.m. UK time.
Steve
And then
is
he
Obviously,
does.
holding up.
obviously, Doug does the Tuesday night. I've started back up again doing a Wednesday night. Brian does a Thursday night usually. Steve from SK sometimes does a Friday night, and Terry Bray, he does a Sunday night live.
JP does
Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoons with Jake
Oh
Thompson.
yeah, he does Saturday morning cartoons with Jake, which is 10 a.m. Central.
Yes. All right. That should get me past little remnant right there. But I think that'll be okay for now. Everything else is gone. We got a nice knot there with some nice character lines in it. So, pretty nice little piece of cherry that's been laying around on my floor for who knows how long. All right. I need to see what kind of sizing I need.
In
I
fact,
kind of
there's
sort
my
of.
link. There's my link for my live tomorrow night.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, Lucy has just reminded me and said, Wayne, for Terry's on a Sunday night, that's when he's not on holiday, and Pete from Twisted Trees usually fills in for him.
Oh, me. Yeah. When he's not on holiday. You're exactly right, Lucy. You're exactly right. Oh,
And
man. I'm
I
liking
think over the next few weeks, he's going to be on holiday quite a lot.
this. Yeah, Ruth retired, and so now she likes to go on holiday. Absolutely.
And Gav has said nobody does lunchtimes in the UK anymore. So he's thinking about bringing them back. Nice
There
one,
you
Gav.
go. Be glad to have you along. All right, I'm gonna make a parting. Well, let's make a tenon for to hold these before we go too far.
Now, Paul says he's usually getting in trouble, and it involves buying another tool. I'm glad I don't have to account to anyone for buying new tools.
I'm in the position where I don't have any money to buy new tools, so I don't buy any.
My problem is I buy one because I can't find one that I know I own, and I end up finding three more.
Yeah,
Oh,
there is
yes,
that.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you go buy it,
Evening,
start to
Rob.
use it the first time, and lo and behold, you find all those that you knew you had.
Yeah, Rob from Copper Owl's just come in.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, let's see. I want to see where those are again, so I don't go. Want to make sure I miss my. I'm just gonna mark that real quick where. All right, I know where my outsides are, so that'll be a good
And
thing.
Susie's just come in as well. Good evening, Susie.
Hi, Susie.
You can't mess around too much on those ends, Doug. You don't have a lot of room to play there.
Exactly. Well, in fact, this is not right because I got to take some of that out of there.
Yeah.
So I'll worry about that later. Okay, we'll get there. And it may end up that this is just a box and we'll do another box at another time. Not like that's ever been done before. Yeah, if I take. But you're right. If this piece had been another half inch to an inch longer, it would have been kind of nice.
Yeah, by the time you put a little tin inside of the lid or the box there, you've used up all of your
All
available
my excess,
space.
yeah. Yep. But we'll have the general idea. That'll be okay. I'll be glad to get away from this step center on this one. This wood is being a little cantankerous. Ruby's favorite tool.
Mike says he turned a lovely spear today, and then screwed it up. I normally screw them up; they're never nice, but they still throw quite well.
Susie, the other EOM voice is Todd from TLF Works.
Hello.
He has a wee bit of an accent, in case you didn't notice.
I figured since this is Doug's show that I was the one with no accent.
Oh, well, I don't have an accent.
Neither do I.
Todd, you'll love it. Guy came up to me the other day and says, where's your southern accent from?
Really? Wow.
He did. He was from Pennsylvania. So, I had to give him a little break.
Yeah, it's from down south.
That's it. I said, well, we are in Kentucky. He said, yeah, I guess I have to give you that.
Speaking of a little break, it looks like you just broke your lid off.
Yeah, well, I turned it down.
Lucy's
right
saying
small
to you, Todd, have I seen your name pop up as a new member of 360? I believe you have, Lucy, yes.
Last week, I finally joined because I'm finally able to make meetings on Monday. So,
all right.
And then I missed the first half of it because I got messed up on the time difference. I thought that meeting started the same time as like this does, but it's earlier.
Yeah, it's earlier. Yeah.
So.
All right, now that we've gotten away from that step center, I should be able to get some turning done. All right, put that away.
And Mama Sneaks has just come in. Good evening, Mama Sneaks.
Hey, Mama Sneaks.
Good evening.
Good to see you today.
I'm sure Sneaks has been in touch with her, but I've got to ask you, Mama Sneaks. Sneaks got his tickets sorted for Mega Central yet?
Hmm.
Was he having trouble getting some?
No, he'd actually, from the post he put on, he'd bought them and he's been waiting for them coming through in the post.
Ah.
But quite a few people have said that when they bought theirs, the tickets actually got emailed to them straight away.
Ah, okay.
And Jenny Harding has joined us.
Evening, Jenny.
She had trouble finding her way in after losing the link that was given last night.
All right.
Well, we're glad you made it regardless.
I started to say, you just search for Doug Miller and you'll find it. But there is another Doug Miller on YouTube. And apparently he's a bodybuilder or wannabe bodybuilder anyway.
Yeah,
so
just look for wood spun round.
Yeah, wood spun round works really well. All right, we're going to have some fun with the number one hollower today. Change the camera direction here. There we go. And I'll get that running about 1200. Up too low.
And Mama Sneaks has said the Sneaks hasn't received them yet, and he's messaged them today to let them know that he hasn't received them. I wonder if it went into his junk mail. Ask him if he's checked his junk mail to see if it went in there.
Yeah, that could happen easily.
Yeah, the spam folder.
Yep.
I
Because
agree,
Martin,
Jim.
when Martin puts out stuff for 360, he usually says, the sort of check your junk mail just in case. Mind you, if you don't get the email, how do you know to check your junk mail? Well, that's another one to think about.
Yeah, you just have to know to go to your spam filter once in a while or your spam file, and check once in a while. I didn't think anything of mine was going in spam, and I just hit it the other day, and there was about 7 or 8 messages. Mind you, none of them were important. They were actually spam, but all those usually come through, and I have to delete them manually.
Because I've got to say that any emails that I get from Maker Central usually go straight into my spam or junk mail.
Does it?
Yep. Mind you, seeing that I won't be there this year anyway, but that's by the by.
Okay. Just making myself a little rim there on the inside of that so I can know to stay away from that. I'll make a small tenon on the other part of it.
Jenny has said, forget the bodybuilder, I prefer wood turning. Nice one, Jenny.
And Heather has joined us. Good afternoon, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Hey, Heather.
Could one of you put in Steve's Friday link for Jenny Martin and the others?
Right, give me a minute and I'll just find it.
I'm not sure whether I'll be there or not. I've got to load my van to go up to a club in Ancaster, the Golden Horseshoe Club.
That sounds like it's at a casino. The Golden Horseshoe?
No, the Golden Horseshoe refers to an area that goes from Niagara Falls and hooks around down by Hamilton.
Okay.
And it's a very prolific area for crops and vineyards and stuff like that.
Oh, Todd's already
Well,
done it.
very
Yeah.
nice.
I said I got it, but I was on mute, so didn't do much.
All right, okay. No probs. What I'll do is, seeing as how I copied that, I'll have to recopy mine. And I'll stick mine back in again for tomorrow night.
Almost as deep as we care to be today. Getting a little center nub out of there. Yeah.
Is this going to have like a flat bottom?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Get my almost square rougher just to go down the sides. Tailstock, of course, is in the way.
Now, Mike says they have the rhubarb triangle in the UK where people mysteriously go missing in the black pudding mines.
Yep, the rhubarb triangle is very famous. It's and I always get the area wrong, but it's in between Wakefield. Come on, Mike, give me the other two.
Heather says she'd like to go to the demo that's this weekend that I'm going up to, and but she's getting her lathe on Sunday instead of last Sunday.
Ah. Oh, not bad at all. Not bad at all. So let's just shape the bottom just a little bit.
So I've just put my link in again.
You're not going to fit the top half to it first?
Oh, I'm not parting it off. I'm just getting my groove started here. In fact, that may be about all the shaping that groove is going to get.
Yeah, the most famous triangle over here is the Bermuda Triangle. It's
No,
used to
the
swallow up planes and boats.
the rhubarb triangle is between Wakefield, Morley, and Rothwell in Yorkshire, and it is quite famous. And what they actually do is that they grow rhubarb in the dark, and with sometimes with candlelight, and the um, you can actually hear the rhubarb grow.
Really?
That's interesting.
Thank you, Gav.
Hmm.
Hear the rhubarb grow. That'd be scary enough.
Ray says we've got a triangle in Lake Michigan.
I mean, it's like you don't necessarily hear it grow, but it's like asparagus, because that grows very, very quick.
Sure.
Lucy said, I love rhubarb. Well, I went shopping yesterday, Lucy, and I went to Tesco's, and I've been looking for rhubarb for ages. And Tesco's finally had some rhubarb in. They don't have any left now. because I bought it all.
Okay.
And Mike says that he played the triangle in a reggae band.
And ting.
We need more cowbell.
Look, Jenny's saying it's so famous in the UK, I've never heard of it before. Look it up, Jenny. Google it. Yeah, Lucy, I bought it all. I cooked it off yesterday, and it's going to be ready for rhubarb crumbles and various other rhubarb recipes.
There you go.
And Gav has said, I'm next door in Pontefract, which is beside Wakefield. And Pontefract is actually very famous for licorice.
That sounds good.
That's why you get the famous, Jenny's probably never heard of these either, but that's where you get the famous Pontefract cakes from, which is a licorice sweet.
Now, Mike says he puts an old dustbin over a couple of heads of rhubarb to force some to come out early.
Yep, that's what you do when you force growing it, yeah.
And Lucy says she likes rhubarb wine.
It's been a lot of years since I had rhubarb wine, Lucy. A lot of years.
I've had dandelion wine, but I haven't had rhubarb.
Well, I had a friend of mine from when I was in the army, Dave Evans, who at the moment is on holiday in Cyprus. His mother, when Dave and I were doing a training course down in Borden in Hampshire, his mother used to make wine out of just about anything, and he always brought some back after being home for the weekend.
Ray's wife is spoiling him with quesadilla tacos and consomme.
Oh, nice. And the other thing
My-
about licorice, as well as all the sweet type stuffs that you get to it, they do produce. Obviously, it's a plant, and the root is something that we used to get as kids. You can still get it in some places, but you actually chew on the root.
Yep.
Mhm. There it is. My little
Lucy's
lip is
saying,
not used.
Lucy's saying a friend's dad used to make the rhubarb wine, and she used to drink it when she was 14. That's why you're that small, Lucy.
That's it.
Now, we used to have a lot of rhubarb and strawberry pie.
Rhubarb is one of those things that was never in our home, and so I don't know. I can't get past the thought of it for some reason.
Oh,
And
Pete's in.
good
Hi, Pete.
morning, Pete.
All right, that's a good fit. It's not a pop fit by any means, but it just fits.
Jenny said licorice root takes me back to my childhood. Yeah, we used to get a lot of it when I was a kid. And Lucy has said licorice isn't good for your blood pressure, though. No, it might not be, but it is good for other things.
Mm-hmm. My dad used to take all the licorice jelly beans out of the bag. None of us would eat it. He was the only one in the family.
Well, now that he's gone, you can send him up to me, Doug.
He's
Yeah,
not gone.
if you
My
are,
dad's still around.
if you do ever come across, or if you are ever constipated, licorice is very good for that.
I've heard that. That's pretty good. Put my box tenon in the chuck instead of the chuck tenon. But we got it.
I just answered that one, Lucy.
All right. Back to the number one hollower. Just to take out this, I want to just open that up just a wee bit.
And Peter said that Lisa likes rhubarb gin. And Carsten's just come in. Good evening, Carsten.
Welcome to Food Talk.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
Food talk, herb talk. And just for fun, we do a little wood turning in the background.
Mike has said from Dancers he's never tried rhubarb gin. Don't like gin so much, except for slow gin. Well, rhubarb gin, I would think, is made the same way as slow gin, where you get the original gin and then you soak the sloes in the gin, and that's probably the same with rhubarb gin, where you soak the rhubarb in the gin.
That would make sense.
One of the best ones, that when I don't know if Todd tried this when he was in Germany, but one of the best ones is what's called a Rumtopf. And it's a ceramic pot with a ceramic lid. And what you do during the summer is you start off with the early berries, put them in the base, cover it with rum. And then as you go through the seasons, you get different berries, put different layers in, cover them all with rum until the end of the autumn, and then you leave it for 6 to 8 weeks. So around about Christmas time, you have this very, very nice drink where all the alcohol is actually soaked into the fruit, and it just leaves a very, very nice fruity drink.
Mm-hmm. I tell you something we used to do. My mother used to do would make brandied fruit. You just put all those, like you were talking about, put all the fruits
Yep,
into a crock and just let them sit and add some every once in a while,
that's
and
it. That's it
it does
exactly.
ferment.
Yeah.
We found it was awfully good on ice cream.
Now, the Mike said rhubarb crumble is the best, and also rhubarb and ginger jam. Whenever I make rhubarb crumble, which I will be doing tomorrow, it always has ginger through it as well. Ray has said straight rhubarb is quite tart. It needs berries to mellow it out. I remember getting sticks of rhubarb as a kid and just dipping it in sugar.
That couldn't be too awful bad. Come on.
Yeah, custard with it'll help.
Yeah, it was like the guy who was in a mental institution. He's looking over the wall of the mental institution, and he saw this guy in the garden. He says, "What are you planting there?" He says, "I'm planting rhubarb." And he says, "Oh, what do you put on it?" He says, "Well, I usually put horse manure on it." He says, "You want to come over here? You want to come over here? We put custard on ours. It tastes much better."
Yeah. All right. Squaring those two pieces up together. All right.
Yeah, Mike said he used to love it with evaporated milk. Yeah. Last time I bought a tin of evaporated milk, I opened it and there was still stuff in there.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you've got to think about that one.
I'm sorry I laughed. I think that's how my dad would eat it. It was with the evaporated milk.
Yes, definitely. That's how we tend to eat it. Maybe with some ice cream as well.
My grandfather used to do some wild and crazy things. He would oh, I'm not nearly wide enough. Okay. He one of the things he did was had my grandmother make chocolate syrup. And just for an emergency, he would have a can of Hershey's chocolate syrup in the cupboard just in case they ran out. But she made chocolate syrup for him by the gallon. And I found out in my latter years, not long before not my latter years, his latter years, found out he didn't have an ice cream scoop. He would take the box and lay it on the counter and use a knife and slice it.
That's what I do.
I've done that too.
Makes sense to me.
Michael McEwen has just come in. Hey,
Hey,
Michael.
Michael. How's the gold doing? All right. I think we're pretty close. Pretty close. Then we'll put a little shape on this.
If you have come in, Michael, and you're wondering what the chat's been about, we are not actually doing Celebrity Master Chef. We are actually on a wood turning show.
You tell us, Wayne. Now, are you going to take a flat piece of wood and make covers for those top and bottom areas on that piece?
On the walnut part? No.
Yes.
No.
You're going to leave it open?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it could be filled with dried flowers or whatever floats somebody's boat. Silk flowers would be nice. um, your idea of having a piece that would fill that is a great idea. Um, that would lend to a number of other uses, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Almost could become a little potpourri bowl the way
It
you're talking.
could. It could.
Now on those areas right there, if the top is and bottom of your box are just sitting exposed, you could put some texturing in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like yeah, here. Yes,
Yeah.
you sure could.
Just in case you were running out of ideas. Well, didn't you get the message, Todd? We were supposed to bring ideas with us?
Always.
Yep. Now, Jenny has said, did Doug say at the start exactly what he's doing?
Yeah.
What is the big brown piece for? Now, the big brown piece, was a piece that he demonstrated on Worldwide Woodturners last Wednesday, and he has decided to make a box to fit across the opening. The piece that he did last Wednesday is a platter which has been cut in half and then glued back together again. And what he's going to be doing now is making a box to fit across the opening at the top.
Yeah, where he had cut the foot out after he cut it in two.
I'll show it again here in a minute and kind of half explain it.
Now, Pete has said that you could fill your box with rhubarb just to keep the continuity rolling. Good one,
Just a little
Pete.
curve to match the top.
I had to step away for a second, so I don't know if Doug addressed this, but if you're looking down at this right now, you can see that the right side is narrower than the left side because his platter wasn't cut exactly in half. So when he cut the foot out, it's probably a little bigger on one side than the other.
Now, Todd is.
You're talking about the tenons here and here?
Yeah.
Well,
they're close to the same.
I haven't cut this. I couldn't cut this off yet.
So yeah. Okay. I
that'll
see
all get cut off. That'll all get cut off.
Yeah, I was wrong. I was looking at the seam in the lid, and I was thinking, why would that seam in the lid be there? Yeah,
right. Yeah, we've got the tenons cut already, but I've got an extra bit here that'll come off yet, so it'll end up looking more like this side.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. Now, Todd has said, if I remember correctly, you all across the pond like root vegetables like parsnips and turnips, also carrots and potatoes. They're all root vegetables. They taste like dirt to me. Maybe it's just how they're prepared. Yeah, it will be on how they're prepared.
I do like turnips.
Or Swede. The same but different. Michael has said, Wayne, I won't be able to make you live tonight. Tomorrow night he'll be driving on the way for some R&R at his daughter's ranch. Got to spend some time with the grandkids. Absolutely no problem, Michael. Family comes first. Gav said honey roasted parsnips are the best. Yeah, the best way to do parsnips is to roast them, I've got to say.
Turnip mash with butter.
There you go.
And add a little bit of cinnamon and cloves. Makes it even better yet.
Yep.
And the turnips, I don't know about parsnips. Turnips, you really have to wait until you have a first frost, and then they tend to get sweet tasting. A lot of people take them up too early, and they're hot. They taste good like that, but they're not quite right. Okay. So much fun we're having here.
Pete just told Todd that carrots and parsnips are the same thing. You just have to water the carrots with orange juice.
Yeah, because believe it or not, He is a weird fact. Carrots weren't originally orange.
No, I've seen quite a few white ones showing up.
Yeah, they
grocery
I
stores.
can't remember what they were originally, but I'm sure it was somebody in Holland that started doing things with carrots to make them orange.
Hmm.
I'm with you, Ray. I don't like those cooked carrots.
Now, my
Plus,
son doesn't like cooked ones. He eats
plus,
raw
I've
ones.
always go ahead, Doug.
I just saying, my son doesn't like raw ones or cooked ones. He'll eat raw ones all day, but the cooked ones, he won't
Okay,
touch a cooked carrot.
right. Here's one for you. How about carrot cake?
Love
Oh, that's
it.
great.
Had it Sunday.
There you
Carrot
go.
cake
That's
count as one of
that.
our vegetables.
Therefore, you do like cooked carrots and Todd.
Well, I'll eat the cooked carrots that way. I'll give in to you on that one, Wayne. So it was Mother's Day. Took my wife and daughter out for lunch, and they came around with the dessert. And my wife said, "Ooh, I really want this peanut butter whatever thing they have. Todd, you should get the carrot cake." So when the carrot cake came, you know who ate that?
And Eric Menifee has joined us. Hi, Eric.
Evening, Eric.
This is Doug's cooking show, in case you were.
It's been that a time or two. Absolutely, it has.
It has. Probably my fault, but I'm not
That's
going to
fine.
apologize.
Nah, I've got to here pretty soon. I've got to smoke a couple of Boston butts for my son's rehearsal dinner.
Oh, nice.
Nothing's better than pulled pork from that. Nothing.
Well, that's what he asked for, you know. So,
Oh,
and then his fiance and her mother, they have decided that for the reception, they're going to have it catered from a barbecue joint. So we're going to have pork, pulled pork twice.
I
And
smoked a bunch
you
of
don't hear
ribs.
me complaining.
Yeah, I smoked a bunch of ribs on Saturday, and then I cut them up into four rib sections, and then used the food saver and freeze them for my lunches.
Ah, there you go.
So I have 12 lunches of ribs frozen waiting for me.
There you go.
Now, myself, I prefer honey garlic ribs.
We can do those on a smoker too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since I got my smoker, first thing I did on the smoker was a turkey breast, and we took it to our family Thanksgiving meal. And now every year, you are going to smoke turkey, right? So, and I've done a whole turkey a couple of times. That's a lot of fun. Do a whole turkey.
No, Pete was a bad boy yesterday. He
Again?
Yep, he wrapped a piece of wood in cling film and poured resin into it.
Oh,
Right.
Pete.
That's me unsubscribing from Pete.
I was going to say we're going to
Yeah,
take away your turning club card.
Yeah, I'll probably block him as well.
I'll dissent on all of that. I can't wait to see it. You know, and it's one of those things.
He knows I'm joking anyway.
Right.
Of course, yeah. As soon as you add color or resin to it, you got my attention.
All right, I've got to.
How about coloring burr elm? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, buddy.
No.
Wouldn't color that, but elm by itself, I'll take a wire brush to it after I turn it, and I'll put an embellishing wax into that grain. I love that.
No, this is burr elm.
Yeah, but not burl.
The grain is just going everywhere. That's where I'm turning tomorrow night. By the way, a piece of burr elm.
Oh, great.
I took a piece down to Mark, the gentleman woodturner last year for a birthday present.
Oh
And he
dear.
went he went to turn it and it blew to bits.
Oh
I think
no.
yeah, it did. I think he did manage to save, and it was a pretty big piece of burr elm that I took him.
Speaking of birthdays, today is Nick Agar's birthday.
I hope he's keeping well.
I hope he's able to enjoy the day. Yeah, I kind of agree with Dale. I color boring woods all the time. You can add texture, you can pierce them, but if the wood is pretty spectacular, color can quite often take away from the beauty of the wood.
Yeah,
You're
burl's like
exactly
that one
right.
wood I don't like the color.
Well, I have a hard time coloring it, but I'm telling you, every time I do, I'm so glad I did. Um, Burls, when you put color, especially layer color on them, um, you have all kind of things that kind of come out of that burl grain that you didn't have a clue was there until you put that color on there.
I think coloring burrs, certainly if it's a light burr, like an ash burr, or
Or maple.
or a maple burr. Yeah, that works really well. On elm, I was pretty much joking when I said I was going to colour the elm burr. That tends to be pretty dark, and it's difficult to find colours
I was
that
gonna say it
will
has some
actually go with the elm.
right. The elm burr has some color to it already.
Oh, it
So
does, yeah.
yeah, I
Depending
understand
on
what
what
you're
type,
saying. Yeah.
yeah, depending on what type of elm it is. I mean, the piece I've got has probably got some spalting in there as well, which adds to it as well.
Absolutely. Um, like a red mallee burl, I wouldn't color that. It's got so much color, and
No,
like you're saying with the elm, it's so dark.
tell you the truth, the last time I turned and somebody did comment on it. The last time I turned a piece of red mallee burl, it actually came out looking like a ribeye steak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Hmm.
interesting.
So then you told them that your wife overcooked the steak, so you decided to turn it?
No. Now, Ray has said, so were we talking about burl and not a species of burr elm then? Now, see, the thing is, somebody asked me once, what is the difference between a burl and a burr? And I answered, the Atlantic Ocean.
Spelling.
Yeah, because in America, what we call burrs are called burls.
Exactly.
Not just America, certain other places as well.
Yeah.
But we tend to call burls burrs in the UK, unless people in the UK have got a very big American influence, in which case they'll probably call them burls as well. But I still
Right.
call a burr a burr.
Right. Right. Yeah. Just where you live. That's all. No biggie. Some people want to make it a international issue, but it's really not. It's just where you live and what you happen to call it. That's just a piece of whatever you want to call it, web bricks,
Now,
web.
Ray said, okay, because we have a species of oak around here called burr oak.
It's
See,
a
now,
species of oak that tends to grow burrs on them quite
yeah,
easily.
what we have across here, if it's a burr oak, it's an oak tree with burrs on it.
Right.
I just filled the back of my pickup with burl off of a live oak tree about 3 weeks ago.
Now, Dale has come in from Maple Tree Studios. Good evening,
Well, hey,
Dale.
Dale.
Hi, Dale.
And he has said, and the lesser spotted haggis snatcher. Now, haggis, there's another one to get onto for a food thing.
Here we go with aluminum and aluminium. It's all in how you spell it.
No, and now
Yes.
there was somebody, I can't remember his name now. He does a lot of metal work. Oh God, I forget his name. I just watched him last night. Right, aluminium, we tend to say in the UK. Aluminum, you tend to say in the US. But when it was originally found in the UK, it was actually called aluminum. It wasn't called aluminium over here. It was called aluminum. Then the name got changed over here to aluminium, and it didn't get changed elsewhere.
And Jason from
Alex Steele. It was Alex Steele, who does a lot of metal work and blacksmith and stuff. On one of his lives a couple of years ago, where he was talking about the Americanization of aluminium, and then he found out that aluminum was originally English.
Jason from Salisbury Crafts has joined us. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Jay.
Good evening, Jason. How are you doing?
Good to see you today.
Well, that's like the difference between Caribbean and Caribbean.
Right. Gotta let the smoke out of that wood. And then you
Ruby,
don't touch that wire.
I thought one of those was a place and one of them was a rum, but maybe I'm.
Yes, is the answer.
And Ray said, "I wish we could. I wish we all could just settle on the flute versus tool stock for gouge sizes. Yeah, that might help."
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. That's
well,
a
there
tool
are
company issue.
Yeah, there are 3 different ratings for how the tools are measured. In North America, it tends to be the diameter of the entire piece of metal. Coming out of the Sheffield area, it's from the outside of one flute to the opposite outside of the tool.
Yeah, it's the flute size. Yeah.
And in Europe, they tend to use the size of the flute.
Now, the other thing is that tends to hold pretty steady for bull gouges. It doesn't hold steady for spindle gouges. It's totally different for spindle gouges, and there's no absolutes when it comes to spindle gouges. Certainly in UK measurements.
Yeah.
All right. In case you were wondering, the reason I put that burn line, I'll switch camera, you'll see it better. But I had to grab this end with my chuck to get the bottom end off, and it left the teeth marks on here. So I put a little rounded groove in there with my detail tool, and then burned it. Now you never know it was held on this end in the chuck.
Now Peter said, small, medium, and large gouge, with of course, tiny and silly big as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Sure. Now, you can probably, well, no, it's dust. My jaws are almost the perfect size there. Need to grab this one. This one probably will leave some marks. Actually, it's too long, but that's okay. I need to sand the inside of that. But I don't need to do it up too awful tight. But we're almost there. On. There we go. 3 times to hit on it before it turns on.
What make did you say your lathe was?
It's my fault. It's a Nova, but still, it's my fault that it wasn't coming on. It's not the control's fault. I have a tendency to just kind of hit at it. And I may actually push it, but it doesn't quite push the button all the way in.
Paul Hunter has said, whatever you call them, Axminster will be out of stock.
Axminster has kind of become the place for you guys over there, hasn't it?
Well, it was for a hell of a lot of years. They originally started with the original shop in Axminster in I think it's Devon, Axminster. And then they started expanding and opening shops all over England.
Okay.
But over the past few years, because of price hikes and insurance costs and things like this, and not being in the right places, they've closed a lot of stores and primarily do stuff online. But like Paul says, with a lot of stuff that you want to find with Axminster, they tend to be out of stock.
Yeah.
I went to 2 prominent tool makers in the U.S. yesterday, and they were both out of stock on about half their stuff. I couldn't get it.
So there's our little box. It's not very big. The box itself is just a hair over 3, like 3 1/8. So it's not very big, and it's about oh golly, I wouldn't set my ruler down. 2 1/8 in diameter. So just a nice little box. The lid just fits it. It's not a pop fit by any means, but it's also not a sloppy fit. Partly because I did this little tenon. Where you can see it there. You might can see it. There's a little bit of an angle going up, and then there's a return angle going down into the lid. So anyway, I got it tapered so it would just fit, and then I did the back angle, this back side, with the intention of it being just a good fit. Pretty good grain match all the way around. Didn't take very much out of it, but then the whole purpose of this box is to fit in here, which it does. Just almost not perfect. I didn't want it to be a snap fit in there either, but it has very little. There we go. Very little wiggle room. So anyway, that'll sit in there. The idea is that this will be mounted on a stem with a base at the bottom, and that can be presented as a ring box. It could be presented as a gift box, all sorts of things.
Well, I can see the ends either having a texture added to them, or an insert, or even a painted mandala pattern on them. But
Al's just come in. Al Dawson's just come in. Evening,
Hey,
Al.
Personally, I would prefer to see that open area covered with another piece of wood.
Easily could do that, right? Yeah, come up with like a veneer thickness that would just cover from the opening here down to the corner, and trimmed off flush, or even just a slight overhang would be nice. Yeah, you could do all kinds of things with that. You could even, and Ruby showed this Wednesday night. I'm sorry, all you folks weren't there, but she had 3 examples, I think, and you had either a lid or some kind of cover there. They were extremely nice, very nice. This is just drop it all. This is just one idea on the theme, so they can be played with. So many things can be done with them. All this still needs a finish on. There's a little bit of walnut oil on the walnut, but that's it. Nothing else at this point. So we'll get at least some more walnut, definitely some wax down the road. So there you go.
If you want to highlight me, I'll just show those quickly.
I think I can manage that. There we go.
So on this one, basically it was turned exactly the same way Doug did. the piece was cut in half, the two halves were glued together, and then this solid piece was mounted, and then it turned into a box.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now
then
you didn't put any, you didn't leave a foot on there at all. You just made a rounded bottom plate that you cut
right,
in half. Okay.
and then
Yeah.
this one, instead of cutting one in half, what I did was made two identical boxes, and
Mm-hmm.
I did shape the edges where they glued together.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to contrast, so I put in some crushed stone. But because I thought about it originally putting something in here, but because the wood had so much grain to it, I didn't want to. So I left it so you could use it as like a little mini vase.
Yeah, we can see the figure in that green from here. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's got a
Yeah.
lot.
It's great. Great stuff.
Anyway, that just gives some more options to what Doug's showing you, but I really like Doug's piece with the opening cut away in the center like that.
Right. And that gives a framework for doing, like I want to do, hold it up here so you can see around this area outside of this foot area. I'll do some piercing, probably 3/4 to an inch wide, just a band of piercing around there, just just to be something else to draw attention. So,
Now, I'm looking at it, and what I'm seeing is that half moon area under the box.
mm-hmm.
I'd like to carve a little bit of something there and highlight it with some gold.
Sure, that could be done too. There's so many. When we start talking about design and design opportunity, there is no limit. It can
Yeah,
just you just play on a theme, one after the other.
yeah. Before you cut that, you could have used the texturing tool around the outside there and
Yep.
put some
Absolutely.
texture on that thing, and then box that texture in with a couple of little
Sure.
highlight grooves, and so many things could really be cool with it.
Now,
Absolutely.
I
Mike
want to
is
see it. I want to see it filled with potpourri or some rock or something. I think it'll be awesome.
Filling that with potpourri and then the box on top of that would be a pretty neat thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The they're called marbles, but they're like slump marbles that have been heated and let them get flat. Uh, Worry stones, whatever you might want to call them. Fill it with that. That would be cool looking.
Yeah.
So, or polished rocks, but so many things. You could have Easter grass. Uh-oh, now we're getting close to ribbons of epoxy. All right.
you do have one complaint, Doug. You're
What's
getting
that?
too quick. Mike says that someone's going to have to cobble you.
Well, that wasn't really quick. That took, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. So that's about where we like to be. With that, thank you all. Thank you all in the chat. I appreciate you coming along. Ray, keep getting better. For those who don't know, Ray was in an accident. He got T-boned, caused his truck to roll a couple of times. He's got some back issues because of it. So it's just going to take some time. So Ray, you get better. We're thinking about you, bud. Glad
Sorry
to
to
have you
hear that,
along.
Ray.
Yeah, it's tough. For somebody who works in heavy equipment, you know, yeah, you can't plan for somebody T-boning you. It's
No.
craziness, absolute craziness. I've had that happen. I was fortunate. My car did not roll. That still wasn't fun. I spun about 5 times, but I didn't roll.
Well, I had that happen, and I rolled. I was on the ramp going up the side of the freeway, and my car actually rolled back down onto the freeway. And when the police got there, they weren't very concerned about the accident. They were more concerned looking at my rifles in the trunk of the car.
I understand. Ronald, that's a great idea. Ronald said, how about a smaller plate cut in half that sits inside? Absolutely, Ron. That's a grand idea. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. It's just up to your imagination with what you can do, not only with this, but with other projects as well. You could, instead of a box of that nature, you could even do a bowl that would sit in there. Just have a round, like a barrel bottom on a bowl. That would be an interesting thought. That'd be multi-axis turning, but we can do that. We know how to do that. In fact, you'd probably have to do it in two different pieces. Now that I think about it, but that would work. Okay, Mama Sneak says, "Take care, everyone." We will. Lots to do between now and next week. So anyway, you folks in the chat, thanks for being here. It's been a lot of fun. Ruby, Wayne, Todd, thank you guys for being here as well. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Good night, everybody.
I enjoyed the rhubarb discussion, even though I don't eat rhubarb. But that's my own fault. I just haven't ever tried it. I will one day. All right. We'll see you all next week, if not before. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Well, all right. Come on. There it goes. Hit that button. Now,